You are not born, you are launched. 1 second you are sealed in darkness, inside a leathery egg buried 2 feet under hot sand. And the next second, 100 of your siblings are clawing at that same darkness, all of you digging upward simultaneously like a single panicked organism. You don't know where you are going. You don't know what a beach is. You don't know that the next 3 minutes of your life will be the most dangerous 3 minutes of the next 50 years. If you even get 50 years, you are a sea turtle. And the moment you crack that shell, the universe is already trying to kill you. You hatch at night because that is the only window where your odds go from catastrophic to merely terrible. The sand above you is still warm from the day's heat, and somewhere in the darkness, your 100-odd siblings are doing exactly what you are doing, which is tearing upward through nearly 2 feet of packed sand with flippers that have never touched anything before. This is called the boil, and it is exactly as desperate as it sounds. The whole clutch erupts at once, not because you are social, but because a single hatchling cannot move that much sand alone. You need each other to survive the birth. You will never need each other again. The moment you crest the surface, every one of them becomes competition. Competition for the fraction of a second it takes a ghost crab to choose a target. Studies have found that on some beaches, ghost crabs alone pick off more than 30% of hatchlings before they ever reach the water's edge. You are the size of a poker chip. The crab is the size of your entire body. You do not fight it, you run. Except you cannot run because your flippers are built for swimming. And every lurch across the open sand is a grotesque, full-body lunge that covers maybe 4 inches at a time. Frigatebirds are already circling. Raccoons have been watching your nest for weeks, literally because they can smell the decomposition gas produced by the eggs, and they track it like a GPS signal. Foxes know this beach. Feral dogs know this beach. You do not know this beach. You are 4 minutes old. The only thing guiding you is the fact that the open ocean horizon is fractionally brighter than the dark tree line behind you. And your eyes, still filmed with sand, are chasing that brightness on pure reflex. Researchers studying loggerhead hatchlings on Florida's east coast found that across all surveyed beaches, about 7.6% of observed hatchlings didn't even make it from the nest to the waterline. That doesn't sound catastrophic until you do the math. A single nest can hold 150 eggs, which means on a bad night, more than 10 of your brothers and sisters get eaten in the 20 meters between your birthplace and the surf. You will not look back. You cannot look back. You hit the water and the ocean takes you, and the land part of your life is over. And that was the easy part. The moment you enter the water, the predators upgrade. You were being hunted by things that needed to breathe air and move on land. Now you are in the domain of fish. Specifically, you are in the domain of every carnivorous fish that patrols the near-shore shallows. And you are the perfect size to fit in most of their mouths. You swim frantically offshore through what biologists call the frenzy swim, a period of pure adrenaline-fueled forward motion that can last up to 36 hours. During which your little body is essentially running on fumes and panic. You do not sleep, you do not eat, you just go. The open ocean is safer than the coast, marginally, the way a highway is safer than a minefield. Once you make it out to the currents, you enter what sea turtle biologist Archie Carr, who coined the phrase decades ago, called the lost years. This is the period of your life, lasting anywhere from 3 to 15 years, depending on your species, during which essentially no adult human on Earth knows where you are, what you are doing, or whether you are still alive. Scientists have spent nearly 70 years trying to track juvenile sea turtles during this phase, and only recently have microsatellite tags small enough for a hatchling-sized turtle even become technically feasible. The lost years are lost because you vanish into the open ocean and become invisible. You ride the great gyres, the massive circular current systems that loop around ocean basins, and you go where the current takes you. You are not navigating, you are drifting. You are a poker chip in a washing machine the size of the Atlantic. You eat whatever small organisms get close enough, zooplankton, tiny jellyfish, whatever the current deposits in the floating mats of sargassum seaweed you shelter in. You are cold, alone, and calorie-starved for years. and the odds that you survive all of this to reach adulthood sit somewhere between 1 in 400 and 1 in 2,000. Scientists published those figures in Royal Society Open Science in 2026, confirming that the famous 1 in 1,000 estimate is actually roughly correct, maybe even optimistic depending on the population. 1 in 1,000. Think about that. If your nest had 120 eggs in it, then statistically, not one of your siblings makes it. The math requires you to be the exception, and the math does not care what you want. Let's say you beat the odds. Let's say you survive the beach, survive the frenzy swim, survive the lost years, survive the sargassum, survive the open ocean predators. Congratulations. You are now a juvenile sea turtle, and your reward is more ocean. You have to keep eating constantly because your metabolism runs on whatever sparse nutrition the open water provides. And the open ocean is not a buffet. It is a mostly empty room where food occasionally falls from the ceiling. You grow slowly, agonizingly slowly, because sea turtles do not reach sexual maturity for anywhere between 20 and 50 years, depending on the species. You are burning decades before you get to participate in the one thing your entire existence is biologically structured around. Green turtles specifically can take up to 40 years to reach reproductive maturity. 40 years. In those 40 years, you will have no home, no territory, no companion, no goal except eat, survive, swim. You will migrate thousands of miles repeatedly, guided by the Earth's magnetic field, because evolution gave you a built-in compass, but not a reason to use it beyond following an ancient instinct you didn't choose. Leatherback sea turtles have been tracked crossing more than 12,000 miles in a single migration, from nesting beaches in Papua, Indonesia, all the way to foraging grounds off the coast of Oregon. A journey that took one satellite-tagged female 647 days and set a record as one of the longest documented migrations of any marine vertebrate. She did that alone in the ocean for nearly 2 years. And if you are a leatherback, your diet for those decades is almost exclusively jellyfish, which are about as nutritious per bite as wet tissue paper. Which means you have to eat thousands of them constantly to fuel a body that can grow to weigh over 1,000 pounds. Your throat is lined with backward-pointing keratinous spines, so the jellyfish cannot back out once they go in. The whole system is deeply committed and completely joyless. Now here is the part that turns the whole thing into a cosmic joke. If you are a female and you survive all of it, the nest, the beach, the lost years, the decades of solitary migration, the jellyfish, the fishing nets, the boat strikes, you eventually return to breed. And where do you go? You go back to the exact beach where you were born. The magnetic signature of that specific beach was imprinted in your brain during your first frenzied swim away from it. And decades later, your nervous system pulls you back like a rubber band. You haul yourself up onto the sand, which you are terrible at because you are built for water and the beach is actively hostile to your body. Your flippers, magnificent in the ocean, drag uselessly on land. You can overheat within minutes. You dig a nest with your rear flippers, deposit around 100 eggs, cover them up, and drag yourself back to the water. You will do this multiple times per season, potentially, and then vanish for 2 to 5 years before doing it again. You will never see your eggs hatch. You will never meet your children. If you are lucky, one of them will survive. If you are unlucky, raccoons find the nest the same night. Because on beaches without active conservation programs, mammal predation has historically taken over 50% of nests in a single season. Your children begin exactly where you began, in the dark, in the sand, with everything trying to eat them, with no one coming to help. There is a female leatherback who was satellite tracked by researchers at Norway's National Marine Fisheries Service, tagged on Jamurspa Medi Beach in Papua, Indonesia, crossing more than 12,000 miles across the Pacific. One animal, alone, completing a journey that dwarfs most human travel in a lifetime. She almost certainly lost the vast majority of the eggs she ever laid. She kept going anyway because she did not have another option. That is the life, that is the whole of it. And if the sea turtle strikes you as somehow noble in all this suffering, Wait until you hear about the leatherback's closest relative, an animal that does the same migration with a body that should make the whole thing physically impossible and somehow makes it look even worse.